The RCM in Martinez. What can I help you with? Of course. What can I help you with? Of course. Where to? Oh, that's right.
She's relieved someone has come for it, finally.
What do you mean? Yes, sir. District of Martinez.
He knows where we are. He just wants directions.
There's the pier, the Cape Side apartment buildings, some more tenements, the harbor gates, some kind of commotion, I think. I don't follow the local politics. Some shops and a bridge. The canal bridge leads to the coast, but it's broken, I think. Just coast. There's a little fishing village there, and a fish market. It's just water. No, actually, I think they call it the Martinez Inlet. There are some islands in the bay, but they're hard to reach. No problem. Me? I am just a gardener. I'm working. I have a greenhouse in the yard there. I've been, well, as you already know, there's a corpse there.
Don't worry, miss. We are here to clean it up. You can...
Thank you. My head is about to explode from all the salts I've had to inhale. Of course. I won't hold you back.
Her gloves. You get the feeling that you need them. You have a dead body to deal with after all.
Sure, keep them. I have another pair.
A colourful piece of plastic is dangling from his carabiner. On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine. It's a dock worker's ID, doubling as a shift card and a job permit. A young, able-bodied man stares back at you from the photo. Santiago S. John. You fumble with the spring-loaded gate of the carabiner, but to no avail. The A colorful piece on the counter rolled out of his open hand. You see a blister pack. It's a dock worker's ID, doubling as a shift card and a job. Your fingers find their way into the shackle, flicking open its spring-loaded gate. The metal loop. The man emits a loud snore. Is he about to wake up? Doesn't look like it, but you never know. Better be quick. You slip the plastic ID card out of the loop and, just for the record, you look you find a black paper note with a woman's profile on it. Seems like this woman lived centuries. Yum yum. Money. Think of all the things you can buy with. No, he's looking the other way. Perhaps the sleeping dock worker has little to say about your actions. He remains silent. The man does not mind.
You've just picked up some magnesium. This item is stored in the bottom left corner of the screen above your character portrait.
The worker is in a deep. Perhaps he's on his way to where you just came from, into the primordial darkness. You gently shake. The worker. Perhaps he's on his way to where you just came from. You gently shake. The worker. Perhaps he's on his way.
No idea. Looks like he works for Wild Pines, the logistics company who, possibly because there's a strike going on in the harbor, there's not much to do aside from drinking.
You gently shake his shoulder. The worker. Perhaps he's on his way to where you just came from. You gently. The worker. Perhaps he's on his way to where you just came from. You gently. The worker. Perhaps he's on his way to where you just came from. You gently shake his shoulder. But the worker. Perhaps he's on his way to where you just came from. You gently shake. The worker. Perhaps he's on his way to where you just came. There is only one way to wake this bone idol from his slumber. Roar like a hurricane. Rip the buildings from the earth.
Why the yelling, man?
Looks like a Sow descendant. A lot of Sow dock workers around.
Wait, what? I was just sleeping. What do you want, officer? Yeah, what about it? You know, people die here every day. Someone's found in it. If someone has decided to die on top of a tree, then how is it my concern? I can tell you this. You heard what I said. Draw your own.
The lieutenant gives you a little nod. So Union people think he was a killer, he thinks. Even sleepy hair. This doesn't help a lot, but it's something. Good work, detective.
That's the name of my employer.
He doesn't sound too enthusiastic about this.
How's it going? Haven't you noticed what's going on outside? We're in the middle of a strike down at the harbour. For one, I get you some more shut-eye in the mornings. Right to work, right to sleep, I say. Nate got it. Majoret's got it. He's guarding the gate. We are. The workers. The union. We know what we need.
Okay. I guess there's also Everard. He's in charge of the union. He's smart.
Thank God, no.
The worker stares at you, his eyes dry from
I don't know what you're talking about, kind sir. But
a little me time in the abyssal pelagic zone. You can never return to it now. Only detective work.
Indeed. Help yourself to some. Wait. No.
The dock worker doesn't answer. His head is already back. Before you stands a motor carriage. The bodywork is covered in blue and white livery, bearing the number. Vapor emanates from the large engine on the back of the vehicle. It hasn't. This must be the infernal machine, that toy from oblivion. The Caprice Kinema. In the cabin, you are welcomed by a set of steering levers, a radio microphone on a hook, a pull-out toolbox under the seat, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge. A metallic drawer slides out from under the seat and clicks into place. The tools inside.
Take what you need, officer. It's going to be a long case.
He's clearly a little protective of his tools. But what can you do? The pry bar feels nice and cold in your hand, useful for opening all sorts of doors and lids. The handles are long and sleek. You can do good work with these. Cut chains, it's robust, weatherproof and well made. Lets you see things in the dark you would otherwise miss. The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. Preheater gauge casts a warm glow on the steering. The frequency tableau lights up and the green button labeled Prime Line glows like the soft purr of electrical kittens. Radio waves cast far and wide over the metropolis.
This is Precinct 57. Hello, Lieutenant.
Hello, Alice. Please assist our colleague from the 40...
Operating the radio is easy. Just be confident. You've probably done it 1,000 times.
This is Officer Alice Demetri, Precinct 57.
Under the green Prime Line, a yellow saved button catches your eye. You wonder what the lieutenant's default radio station is.
Of course. What is the number, officer?
Yes, hold on. Her number is...
Received.
Give it a minute. She might be busy at the moment.
Officer, I have Sylvie Malaika on the line. Yes, hello? Oh, right. Hello, officer. What can I do for you? You mean, why did I leave the bar? Honestly, I'm not really...
Why not?
Let's just say I left because I needed to get away from someone. You know whom. What? No, why would you even think that? Please, don't bring Gart into this. I already said I don't want to talk about this. You're messing everything up again. You mean, why did I leave the bar?
Why not?
You know whom. What? No, why would you even think that? Please, don't bring Gart. I already said I don't want to talk about this. You're messing everything up again. No, not me. No, sorry, I don't. Not a lot of people don't have the money to have the cables put in again.
So the Union has a phone, and there's...
It was someone else. We'll find them sooner or later, officer. It just might take a while.
What? Of course it bothered me. But I thought the Union already knew about the corpse. No one calls the police. The Union would get angry. You know, what the Union says goes. People listen to them and they take care of their own, which is like everyone here. Okay. I don't know what to tell you, officer. I didn't call you because I didn't want to get in trouble with the others. With the Union. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, go on. I do hope so. Please, don't call me again. Bye.
No, she doesn't. Before use, vapor. This must be in the cabin. You are welcomed by a set of steering levers, a radio microphone on a hook, a pull-out tool, a metallic.
Take what you...
He's clearly the bribe useful for opening the. You can. It lets you pull out toolbox. The frequency, the soft purr.
Hello, Ali.
Operating the radio is easy. Under the green prime line.
Of course. What is the number, officer?
Yes.
Loot.
Officer? Yes, hello? Oh, right. You mean, why did I leave the bar?
Why not?
What? No, why would you even think that? Please, don't bring... I already said I don't want to talk about this. You're messing up. You mean, why did I leave the bar?
Why not?
Maybe, I don't know. I just know I have to take some time off right now. No, not me. No, people don't...
So do you?
It was someone else.
What? Of course it bothered me. But I thought no one... You know... Okay. I don't know what to tell you, officer. I did... Yeah, go on. I do hope so. Please, don't call me.
Yes, you have obviously done something to upset her at the whirling in rags.
I'm not mad, it's just... You were so drunk and so emotional all the time, and then the skewer thing happened. It just made me want to quit. The stuffed bird, the great skua. You threw it against the wall while... I think you said it had been giving you shit ever since you got there. It was a pretty bird, there since I started working in whirling. I really liked her. We call her Scotty. The stuffed bird, the great skua. I think you said it had been giving you shit ever since you got there. Yes, well... Yes, obviously. You were the worst client I've ever seen. I've had sailors fighting, union guys grabbing my ass, kids stealing booze. Once a guy was glued to the karaoke machine every night for 2 months. Well, you were worse than all of them. Even about little things like not turning down the volume at 3 a.m. I even liked one of those songs you kept listening to on We Go On by the O.O. I can't listen to it anymore. You've turned it into a parody. To hell with that song. Then there was your room. Your project. I tried to send the cleaner, but you wouldn't let me. Threatened to make me, and then screamed something about how you're a piece of shit human being, and why does anyone even let you work as a policeman? That you'd fire yourself, but you can't even do that. And then I had to deal with your toilet, the one you clogged with police stuff. I won't even mention you waving your gun around, harassing customers, threatening to sing karaoke. The ones I had to rent out of... Damn it, I don't remember what I did to your damn papers. I don't remember, especially when there's a hurricane loose. It's your fault for losing them.
Something in you wants to immediately forget about this, as if there was a reason you threw them away.
No, you really weren't. You were simply the worst. God, I know I shouldn't have brought it up. Just try not to call me again, and let's pretend it never happened. Wait, really? No, this is no. I was actually flattered. I've always liked him.
There's a pause. You can almost see her.
I didn't know what to say to him later. Then you came and destroyed the place. So I left without explaining. Okay, but please don't mess it up. Please don't take out your gun or something. All sorts of things. From disco, rock too. So much. Yes, that's the one you like to sing along to the most. The later it got, the more...
Interesting. You still have to find a copy, though, before you can blast it.
The stuff... I think you said it had been giving you shit ever since. Didn't seem like you had fun doing it, though. Yes, I've had sailors fighting. You need... Well, even about little things like not turning... We Go On by the O.O. To hell with that song. Then I tried... And then screamed something about how you're a piece of shit human... And then, I won't even mention you ways... No, you really weren't. You were simply the worst. God, I know I shouldn't have brought it up. Just try not to call me again, and let's pretend it never happened.
You hear a sigh of relief on the other end of the radio.
Anything else I can help you with, officer? Just a second, officer.
10-2, 10-5. This is 41st, come in.
A scrawny old man sits in a dusty cubicle, smoking, with a large white rectangle sewn on his vest. The man uses relay code. You got this. You're a cop, and cops know.
10-4, message received. 10-5, relay message. What's your status? Over. 10-18, state your message, sir. 10-4, I hear you. I don't have the authority to grant you...
Is it him? What does he want?
He says he needs money.
Don't give that asshole anything.
Right. That's a negative on the additional funds, sir. Over. Anything else, sir? Over. 10-9, over. 10-4, message received. This is a very...
Any other good...
He's saying he lost his badge.
He what? He lost his badge?
This is Communication Officer Jules Pidieux, sir. You mean your partner? Over.
What is he saying?
He's asking who you are.
I'm his goddamn...
It's your partner, Satellite Officer Wittmar, sir.
Did he lose his memory along with his fucking badge?
Who lost his badge?
Dick fucking Mullen. Who do you think?
It's Officer Dick Mullen from the bestseller Dick Mullen and the Lost Identity.
Dick Mullen is not your name. It's the name of a fiction. Defend yourself. Immediately. They're laughing at you.
10-4, I hear you, officer. I'm just going to make a note here that you are in pursuit of your misplaced badge. Over.
Fuck me! Mac, come here! You've got...
What's going on?
Supercop here lost...
He lost his badge. He lost his goddamn fucking badge.
Ten-9, come again. I didn't get that. Over.
New heights even for...
Ask him. Ask him if he's lost.
Sergeant Orson wants to know if you lost your...
Check your pockets. Check your... Holy fuck. You don't know where it is. Okay, it's gone.
10-9, come in, officer. Did you get my question? We were wondering about your gun. Over.
Even before you can get the words out, everything gets scrambled in your brain.
He says he didn't lose his gun. Or...
Ask him to describe it. His gun, not his fun.
Satellite Officer McLean requests a description of your...
Oh, request a description, huh? We'll give him one. Describe the plasma gun.
He says he...
Dear God, he lost his gun. Oh,
This isn't really a lot.
Mac can face a giant of Coco Nur by himself.
oh, I can't. Fuck. He lost his...
I'm not going to...
Ask him.
Sergeant Orson here is wondering if you are still in possession of your genitalia. Over. He acknowledges your joke and...
Lay off. Lay off. Tell him we'll lay off.
Satellite Officer... 10-4, affirmative. Officer is in pursuit of...
Oh, God,
Officer, do you need further assistance? Over. Roger that. 10-10. Over and out.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? It will take just a moment.
Her voices fade out.
Gottlieb, what do you want?
He's carelessly chewing on a piece of hard candy.
Oh, it's you. Yes, there's no end to the misfortunes fate has seen fit to rain. Who? You are? You lost your human visage a while back. Now let's get on with it. I've got more important things to do. With all the damage you've been dealing yourself with drugs and alcohol, I'm not surprised. What else? I'm not a brain doctor. Look on the bright side.
It's hard to say if he doesn't believe you or doesn't care.
What? You want me to do blood work for you again? Tell you just how bad things really are across the board? You want another rundown of everything collapsing inside your body? You want the real, honest-to-God truth? Stop drinking, eat magnesium and vitamin D. And no, I don't want to hear a political commentary on the topic. In fact, I got work to do.
It's not fucking cryo-acta-latte. It's super glue, Doc.
And you survived it. Congratulations. Even better. Anything else? I wouldn't worry about that. Officers your age have current...
Anything else I can help you with, officer? '57's over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers, a radio on a hook, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft... This Post Lavantore mail collection box has been heavily vandalized with graffito. A closer inspection reveals two... The box seems happy. Eat shit pig, fucked by the coon, and St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore, and best set mailbox also. The mail collection box seems cathartic, thankful even. So do you. You shudder. Then you swallow. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull. Why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty? Your money disappears into the coin slot. A clunk. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry. Different blues and green. The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out. Really? I don't have the eyesight.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. You have no clue. This is a wall on the side of an... You haven't. So... This is a wall on the side of... Because this is no ordinary wall. It is sublime. Look at it. All the other walls on all the other houses must make a pilgrimage in adoration of this. The Oh, Wall Father.
Huh?
He sounds tired of it all.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I suppose we have to pass by it again at some point anyway.
what's that noise down there?
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets.
Good morning, officers. I'm Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she...
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do...
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he...
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group. Why, yes I am. Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? I mean, we are on Le Caillou, are we not? I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped up...
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve... It's for crossing long distances in a greater...
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol. Between the...
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's... Before you do, it would be pertinent to ask other questions. Gather more info on this boat of her.
Oh my, the E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class?
Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional negotiator?
Then what does that say? Does it say docking reserved for 33A? This old proletarian haunt here? As I said, plenty of people drive boats, of all social strata.
Your synapses flesh.
Okay. It is anti-centennial. I assure you, they drove quite a hard bargain for... I am a bourgeois woman, and this is my fast, lightweight, interminably bourgeois boat. The boat? No. It is called Cor de Leyte, 19, but my sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has solid...
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Good. What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely...
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain.
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you...
$1 billion?
Yes, past a certain point, numbers begin to seem imaginary, but they are quite real. A conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving and growing, it will die. Then what becomes of those... They started as an exploration and cargo fleet, conducting trade between... Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its... You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery...
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped... Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. What can I say? The Union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped.
And when did you...
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still...
But the strike began in this...
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the Union boss.
This isn't the first time the Union...
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the Union won significant concessions, including overtime.
Ludicrous, even. It's meant.
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. Every worker, a member...
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Then you might also like their other slogan. Demand democracy. Personally, I don't think it has the same pizzazzo as every worker a member of the board. It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines Group makes a decision about what? About any... Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position. A hard-nosed tactic with a side of and now, people are getting lynched, I hear.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about...
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it...
This checks out.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more... Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also... It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came in...
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid... And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put... Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous...
Disappear.
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story. Indeed. The company suspects... The point of the presentation is... These kinds of...
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your name.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lud, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge.
How curious. Why is that, detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. Oh, dear. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you...
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply...
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Of course. But before we do, officers, let me be... The situation is extremely volatile. The sooner we can speak about this lynching business, the better for all of us. This reality.
Yes, reality and experimental side case.
Ah, yes, the episode.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. This place used to be a province. A workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real... It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. Yes, we're on an island in an ocean.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités, vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out.
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed-over pebble amidst a great blue...
It is clear this pebble and to humanity at large.
Revachol? The Great?
As if it's self-explanatory. Beyond...
History, detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and in the DeLorean century. They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. By that I mean conflicts. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is. Oh, we're quite a way off. About 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian...
Silence. She lowers the water, the light. There is no recognition. Only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need to complete.
Was there something else you wanted to know?
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Monsieur will...
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
That is understandable, but perhaps it's better not to eat all your candy.
Indeed. I'm always at your service. These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late. For the big time. The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who... Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people. Yes, the Red Deluge. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was the real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. Yes, King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. What is the expression? Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The benefit... Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing.
We? She's one of them.
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights. The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay. The armed The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They, at least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing... This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
A devout man of the center. Hard to come by. It's good to have someone who takes a moderate approach to head shooting. The turn of the century revolution? The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. It made people overthrow their governments. Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The act from Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazovs, why? You and I, officer. Our lives in...
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the...
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chattil.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastic...
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Time flies. The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven. No, it was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like... Welcome to reality. baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not. Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. Good question. What would you have done differently? So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with the technology 50 years ago? Good hygiene. Really. A very moderate solution. When they failed to step up, Marzov and his party stepped in. In this...
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position,
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way.
Understandable. They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet... Anyway, enough sentimentality.
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
She nods slowly. She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. I am an...
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the mod... Haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who... I can see you thought I'd gone extinct. No sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a century...
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
A fitting punishment. To be forgotten, if not forgiven. Save a prayer for us in our... When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This, with due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez... I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez. And not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
She realizes her small, cold
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
Yes. I suppose I am.
Seditious talk, man.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my...
You're no dummy yourself.
A smart boy getting smarter. One basic term of reality at a time. Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions? Ah! This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislaine. Or two. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux, this one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate. Splat, splat. Wonderful. The girl in the old lady rags. Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of yes. You and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music... She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture. Young people who dye their hair funny colors and wear old people's clothes are stupid. And all right, what next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
And what would that be? I can see that, yes. I dabble in those dark arts myself, not so long ago. Nothing infra about disco, baby. Those days are long behind me. And even in the early 30s, I would say I was more of a new girl, the new. A cultural era. And the name of the decade it ravished, the 30s. It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne-colored everything. By the looks of it, that would have been when you came of age. Now... Wasn't it Guillaume Le Million who said, if...
For some reason, your mind is a veritable repository of Guillaume Le Million lyrics, trivia, and B-sides. But the time to explore this is when you're alone, facing a mirror. It remains a mystery what you mean by this something close. This isn't about you.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? Of course, Detective. Take... You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy. Look at that lady. Take a gander, a well-kempt, yet tastefully short bob of dark hair. Despite the first hints positively while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green. These are the kind eyes of the rich man within reason. Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too... But you are too ashamed to ask this person for money.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
I am sorry.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Is what you want to say. Look at that lady. A well-positive. While these within reason. Now look at your poor. Oh.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may...
I am sorry.
You're back. Good. What can I help?
Is what you look at that lady. A well-positive. While these within reason. Now you're poor. Oh.
As I was saying, if there's any way I...
Voila. You're doing it.
Why, yes, I am rich. How much money...
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. Could it be that she somehow knows more about your predicament than she's letting on?
That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She removes a few notes and hands them to you.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still...
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its...